What's the point of kids if you can't exploit them in some way?
That's true. Um,
In saying that, today we're going to talk about parenting stories.
yeah, that's right. So,
So, life is fun when your brain is weird.
back in what was this, August, we actually got an email. Someone actually bothered to listen to our podcast, maybe, and send us an email with a request. So it only took us 3 months.
To
Sorry.
decode what the hell that email actually said.
It was an interesting email from someone who really seems very focused on belly buttons, but is also an expectant parent. And they were asking lots of questions about parenting, so we decided we would have a go at answering them with the very major caveat that neither of us are qualified to talk about parenting beyond the fact that we are parents.
Correct. Disclaimer. We are not trained professionals. We have no expert training whatsoever, and taking any advice off us is
Yes.
not advised.
Yeah, your mileage may vary very much.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, okay. So I put in our episode planner, Marley, some of the questions that we can try and go through, or we can just ramble like we usually do. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, rambling's a worse word for it, but I will go and
Yeah,
check out the notes.
yeah.
Mhm.
So we had a question about baby books and child books to read to your children, and I highly recommend reading to your children. It is definitely one of the
Mhm.
things that's supposed to be good for their development, and it's a good way to encourage literacy in young kids. So we had lots of Dr. Seuss. We had Where's the Green Sheep, an Australian classic. We even had the Where is the Green Sheep that came with a green sheep, and the green sheep was very popular for a while with our small children. Yeah, I think anything that is geared towards kids and has fun pictures and an engaging story is a good choice. There's so many kids books out there these days. Just go into
Yeah.
your local bookstore and ask for recommendations.
And there's a lot of good ones that are just fun for the kids as well. Like there was this um whole theme that was going on for a while that was like even fairies fart, even pirates fart, and
Mm-hmm.
things like that that was just like a
Yep.
little bit silly, but also normalizing things that we usually go, girls don't fart,
Mm.
and things like that. I was always a big fan of the ones that were silly. Um,
Yeah.
so there's a bunch of books. Who was it? Uh, Let me research on the fly. It was by Lisa McCourt. So she did a series of books. I think there was like four or five of them. And the first one was called "I Love You, Stinky Face," and it was a whole book where each 2 pages was like the kid going, but Mama, would you still love me if I was a bug?"
Yeah.
And the mum coming back with a silly reply about like, how she would feed it or look after it or whatever and how she
Yeah.
would still love it. And one of them in there is, would you still love me if I was a skunk? I say, yes, I would. I'd brush your fur and bathe you and tell you I love you, my stinky face. And stinky face became like the thing that she called him through the books. It was like, I love you, stinky face. I miss you, stinky face. I can't remember what the rest of them are because like the second book was like she was away and she was coming home, and but what happens if your plane doesn't take off? Oh, then I will get a train and I will get a
Mm-hmm.
rocket to the moon. It was just all very very silly and
Yeah.
fun. So yeah, that series was a big one I used to read to Daniel. Um, Another one for all of you geeky type people out there in the crowd that most people don't know about is Terry Pratchett actually brought out a kid's book, like a little kid's book, not like the Amazing Maurice's Rat. It was an actual
Yeah.
kid's book, and it was a
Mm.
story that was from one of his Discworld novels that was about the Watchmen, and it was after Vimes married the.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. The one
And there's a
that was
story
the
with
book
it.
that Vimes read to his
Yes, and he
kid.
brought it out
Yeah,
as an
yeah, yeah.
actual book. He brought it out as
Yeah.
an actual book. It's
Yes.
great. It's like
I have
yes, and
seen
it's
that.
called Where's My Cow? So yeah, that one's actually really, really fun as well. So I highly recommend that. As far as little books like baby books and stuff, I don't think it really matters what you read to them when they're that young.
Yeah.
It matters that you're
Just
spending time with them and that they hear your voice.
yeah,
So
and listening to
read,
the words and listening to words that they might not ordinarily hear. So it exposes them to new vocabulary and
yeah.
having interesting pictures for them to try and focus on and learn as they get a little bit bigger, once they're big enough to actually look at things.
Yeah, but I mean,
Um,
even when they're like really, really, really young, if you really, really are a bookworm and want to read to like, 6-month-old baby at bedtime, you could take whatever you're currently reading and just read it out loud to
read it
them.
out loud, yeah. And they just like having a voice,
They
really.
do. They
And
like having you close. They like hearing your voice.
yep. Um, two ones that I thought of while you were talking. Um, we very much liked Guess How Much I Love You with the two hares, like two rabbits. That's a
Hmm.
sweet one. So that was kind of similar to the one you were describing, where there's like a daddy rabbit and a baby rabbit, and they're almost having like a one-up contest to say like how much they love each other, which is really sweet and heartwarming.
Yeah.
And then the other one that I really liked is by an author called Kate Beaton, who had a web comic that I really loved. And she did a kid's book called The Princess and the Pony, which is really funny. And
Mm.
the pony farts, which is also hilarious.
You know what is a really good one if you've got young girls is The Paper Bag Princess.
Oh, okay. I don't know that one.
So the princess, like, she's supposed to get married and everything, but she gets taken by a dragon who like burns her clothes, and she ends up in a paper bag with her hair all
Oh,
frizzy.
okay. That's
But she
cute.
saves herself at
Yeah.
the end of it, and like when she gets home, she's all dirty and her hair's frizzy, and she's wearing a paper bag, and they basically tell her to go and clean herself up and everything, and she's like, "Screw this, I'm better than you." It's a
That's
it's a
why,
really good book.
yeah, that's why I like The Princess and the Pony, because she's not a pretty delicate princess. She's a warrior princess.
Yeah,
And she's like, her um she's a princess of a bunch of like Viking style like fighters, which is
yeah.
really hilarious.
And that's not to say that it's not acceptable or okay for your little girls to want to be traditionally feminine and be saved by the prince and stuff. But I think
No,
it's good to expose your girls to the idea that they can fight and climb trees and rescue themselves if that's what they
if
want to
they
do.
so choose, right? It's
Yep,
about autonomy and choice.
correct. So
So
yeah.
and
Um,
lots of different options and different right ways to be, for sure.
and when they're a bit older, if you still do bedtime reading time, Eden Blyton is always like, you know,
Oh yeah, we've got a lot of Enid Blyton. The Wishing Chair was a
Folk
big
at the
one.
Faraway Tree.
They
Um,
didn't like the Faraway Tree as much, but we've listened to the Wishing Chair audiobooks over and over and over. And also, she had like a Christmas book, Enid Blyton, that like it was a bunch of different stories interwoven with like a kind of overarching story where it was like a family where the dad was describing all these different Christmas traditions. And not that we're like super into Christmas, but I think my kids found it really fascinating because it talked about things like the origin of mistletoe,
oh
going
yeah,
back to like Norse mythology and Balder the Beautiful, and being killed by the mistletoe and stuff like that. Like all of those kind of stories and how they've
Mm.
got woven into different Christmas traditions, which they really like. But also, like, it is a little bit, as a parent, as an adult, it felt like a bit of a stretch because all the children in it are just so painfully good. They're all like spending their last dollar to get mom a Christmas present and like working
Yeah.
really hard. Like, these are not real children. What are you talking about? You know, blighting your own crack.
Well, she's also got like the Naughtiest Girl collection, and
Yeah.
she's got a few books there that are like stories for 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, like different books. But she
Mm-hmm.
also did the Famous Five collection, so she also did
Yeah.
like boy detective type series as
Yeah,
well.
my kiddos never really got into the Famous Five. They received some Famous Five books, but they just weren't that into it. So
Mm.
yeah, they liked more like Artemis Fowl and stuff that's a bit more, I don't know,
Modern.
modern. Anyway, so second question that I pulled out of this very long email that was very fixated on belly buttons. Can we can we recommend or suggest any good play bonding and playtime activities that we could do together with our child when we are either engaging or interacting with her or talking to her or spending time with her or playing with her? So I'm going to answer this in kind of a roundabout way. I think that understanding where your baby is at and your child is at is a really important thing to keep in mind when you're interacting with them. So, for example, like, you know, older babies might like songs and thing with rhythm, and that's after they've developed those abilities to actually like get volume and rhythm and things like that and process it with their little brains. Well, it certainly doesn't hurt to sing to a little baby, but they're probably not really getting much more out of it other than there's a voice and it's nearby and it's comforting. So we really got a lot out of this book called The Wonder Weeks, that basically there's like a predictable pattern of when your child develops certain cognitive abilities. So like volume, like suddenly your child might be going really loud because it figured out that that's louder than so so like you can kind of tailor what you do with them depending on where they're at developmentally. So like things like for really little babies, you might want to put them on their tummy and then like play with them while they're on their tummy so they build up their core strength so they can get ready to crawl. But older babies that can already sit up or crawl or whatever, you might want to do other things that help them develop, where they're at. So yeah, I mean, I think just being with your kids and getting interested with whatever they're interested in is probably a good thing to use to drive you. And also, we did a lot of like play group things, so that we were lucky that living in the inner city in Sydney there were a lot of resources around. So they had this thing called Magic Yellow Bus that would come to the park once a week. So we'd truck over there, they'd have all different kinds of toys for all different up to
Mm.
like preschool age developmental levels, and they'd have somebody singing to a guitar and then all different sorts of activities. So engaging with resources that let you being able to make use of any resources where someone's got a childhood developmental qualification to help you is always helpful.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Like all of that, and
Yeah.
yeah, like because realistically, all I was going to say is like listen to your child,
Yeah.
like help them get exposure to different things so they can find the things that they want. Do it with
Yeah.
them as a
Yeah.
journey. It's a bonding
Yeah.
activity.
Yeah.
Um, don't tell them they can't try something because they're a boy or a girl.
Yeah.
Let them try the things that they want to try out. show them things they haven't even thought to try out. Let them find
Yeah.
where their passions lie and what they want their hobbies to be. Don't try and form them to be mini you. They're
Yeah.
not. Once you've given birth to them, they're a whole other human being now with their own likes and dislikes. It's okay
Yeah.
for you to not like the same things as your child likes doing.
Yeah.
But you're the adult, you're the parent, so you suck it up and you do things that you don't really enjoy just for the joy that they get from exploring it. So
Yeah.
that's what I would say. Then you find the things that you both kind of like, but you like it because you do it together. And you'll find them as you go.
Well, then you can be
Yeah.
like me and you discover that you really had a lot of catching up on Lego to do, and having two children who like to play Lego means that you can spend a lot of time with them doing that.
Well, see, Daniel's favourite hobby is a joint hobby. He likes to torment me, and
Mm.
I'm easy to torment.
It's like you were destined to be together.
It helps that I didn't start with any measurable sanity, so
Yeah, that's true.
it wasn't.
Um, I'm a big fan of letting kids just play around in the dirt outside as well. Like I think
Oh
even
God,
in
yeah.
this day and age, kids don't get enough outdoor time. So we even in the middle of winter, I mean, again, we're living in Sydney. It doesn't get that cold, but it was above freezing, but it wasn't comfortable. But we would go out to. I would just by about 9 or 10 o'clock, I would be herding everyone out of the house if there wasn't daycare on that day or whatever, and
Mm.
just letting them play in the park and poke bugs and pick up sticks and things like that. And I would play with them in the park. We would play, chase, or we'd play in the sand pit together, and they would pretend that they were running a shop, and I would have to buy a pile of sand. Yeah, just hang up your ego, hang up your own expectations, and just meet them at their level and do what they're interested in. And I think you can't go wrong, really. But
And you'll probably be surprised that if you put all your expectations in what your child should like doing aside, you'll probably find that they will do things that you really enjoy doing just to spend time with you.
yeah.
Um, like for a while there, I actually had membership for me and Daniel with the Essendon Football Club because
Okay.
I thought he really liked AFL. So I got that, and we went to all the live games together and everything. And the next year we didn't get it because I discovered that he really didn't care. He was just excited about going with me.
Yeah, like it was a
So
thing you could do together. Yeah.
yeah, so it was easier for us to go, oh, and cheaper for us to go, well, if you just want to spend time with me and neither one of us like it's fun, but we don't want to go every week sort of thing, then maybe we can just find something else we enjoy doing together. So,
Yes.
if you are a football dad, you'll probably find that your kid doesn't mind going along to games and gets excited about going along to games and it's a thing that you do with them
Yeah.
even if they're not particularly sporty in other ways. So
Mm.
just put your expectations aside. You'll find things that you bond with your child over. You'll find things that you have to suck it up and suffer through because they like, the 50 millionth saxophone recital that you really don't want to go to. Um, but, it's part of being a parent.
um, I was gonna say too that spending a lot of money is not required for having quality time with your kids. You can certainly figure out things to do that they like to do. That I mean, the number of times we just spent afternoons making things out of recycled cardboard from the recycling bin was so um you know helpful, that we didn't have to worry about, forking over a truckload of money or getting expensive toys. I wouldn't recommend, especially for young children, spending a lot of money on toys. Because everybody wants to get rid of their baby toys once their child is older. they're not going to hang on to them. So you can get a lot of baby toys for free. And B, you can make toys out of anything. I would just get like plastic tubs out of the kitchen and they would play with those.
Seriously, pots and a wooden spoon. They'll go for
Yeah,
hours. So.
so cheap and easy. You don't just be creative. Don't rely on marketing to tell you what to buy and stuff like that. Kids will, as long as it's reasonably safe and they can't choke on it, just let them play with it. Or, like making homemade Play-Doh even.
You do want some toys, colours and shapes and stuff for them to play with, especially at young developmental ages, but you don't need expensive brands for that.
You don't,
Um,
and get secondhand for that stuff. Like
hmm
you're gonna find stuff that is in near new perfect condition because somebody
hmm
had it for 5 minutes and then their kids stopped playing with it. So it really doesn't have to cost a lot of money. And you're gonna spend it later on all kinds of other things like doctor visits and
Yep.
clothes and
And like realistically, three, four, five, six, seven, eight is when they start actually having focused interest. That's when you start actually spending money on hobbies and stuff like
unless
that.
you have like a really unique child. But
Yeah,
yeah,
some of them are a bit precocious, but yeah, they'll go through
yeah,
so many phases and trends and stuff
yeah.
at those younger ages that you don't want to buy them every Elsa doggle that comes on the
No,
market.
no. And they will
Because,
ask for it,
hmm
and you just have to be good at saying no. Talk to your kids, don't talk down to them. Find out what they're interested in, or give them a chance to explore what they might be interested in. And yeah, just set your own, like you're an adult, you can go and do something that's interesting to you later after they've gone to sleep. Just set your own ego and judgment aside and meet them at their level. And you will find plenty of things to bond with them and interact with them.
And before you know it, their level is above yours, and they're taking themselves down to meet you at your level.
Indeed.
Danielle and I play swapsies for who's the parent.
So that was my other thing that came to mind as soon as we got this email, because it was, funnily enough, there was a follow-up email. I don't know if you saw the one they sent. They sent this one with all the questions and stuff. And then literally a minute later, it said, we're both nervous about all this because this is our first time becoming full-time parents together and my first time becoming a full-time daddy. We both want things to go smoothly. I want things to go smoothly for myself as well. Um, at the end of the day, I know there's a saying out there, parents say or use, there are no right or wrong way to parent your child because every parent is different. Every parent parents their child differently.
No, there are very wrong ways to parent your child.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are wrong ways, but I mean, there's no one path to being a good
There's
parent.
no one right
But
way to do it right,
but I
but
was gonna say that as much as you want things to go smoothly, don't put any expectation on how it's going to go because it is the biggest lesson I've taken away from being a parent is that you can't control any of it. You can't control any of it. It's outside of your control. All you can do is, try and be the best parent that you can.
do you, do you remember what dating was like? You were out there meeting a whole bunch of people with their own thoughts and opinions on things, and it didn't always work well for you. That's parenting, only with
Yes.
children.
Yeah.
They've got
With
their
people,
own thoughts, opinions, and
yeah.
yep.
But they may not have fully developed frontal lobes yet.
hmm
So that makes it an extra
hmm
level of challenge.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Should we do a couple more?
hmm
So the next one was about co-sleeping, and I had lots of thoughts about that because
I have no thoughts on that, so you go nuts.
sleep was a constant battle. Um, so we didn't co-sleep as in we all slept together in the same bed, but we did co-sleep as in the cot was literally next to the bed because there was nowhere else to put the cot. So we all slept in the same room. But there is some pretty compelling research that sleeping, in the same room with your child in a safe way helps with bonding. So bonding's with your child's really important. Like being nearby with them while they're sleeping is considered a good approach. But sleeping in the same bed, like so having an infant sleep in your bed isn't considered safe or recommended. So I
But
think
if
most
they
experts wouldn't suggest that.
but if they are in the same bed as you got something to throw at the predator before to get maybe
This
escape.
is true. This is true. Or maybe they'll wake you up before the predator gets there because they're only gonna sleep for 45 minutes at a time.
Yeah. D- Daniel was actually a really good sleeper. Like
Yeah.
he was hell to get to sleep, but once he was out, he was out.
See, that apparently was me. When I was very young, my mom told me, not that I remember anything of this happening, but I was informed that I was very hard to get to sleep, and my mom literally had to pin me down so that I couldn't move, and then I would fall asleep. But this was usually at 10 or 11 o'clock at night when I was like 2 years old.
Well, when Daniel was, I want to say he was like 4, 5-ish, we had to move back in with my mother, um, for
Yep.
reasons.
Yep.
And because there was already the 4 kids in the house, we got one section of the internal weird. It was a whole weird situation, but they put bookshelves down the middle to cordon it off so that
Yep.
Daniel and I shared a space on one side of it,
Yep.
and to start with, my brother Damien shared space on the other side of it.
Yep.
And Daniel would be sleeping on the futon with me and snoring. And
Yep.
Damien on the other side of the bookshelves would start snoring.
Oh,
And
gosh.
so he'd get louder, so Daniel would get louder, then Damien would
Oh
get
my
louder,
God.
then Daniel would get louder. Until it got to the point where Damien on the other side of the bookshelves was as loud as Daniel right next to my ear.
Oh my gosh. That
And
sounds like
oh
hell.
my, but that's not even the funniest one. The funniest one was there was a reshuffle that happened, and Damien went up to the other end of the house, and Steve, Steph, Olivia, whatever I call her nowadays, went into sharing the space with us. And Daniel weirdly started sleep talking because
Okay.
Olivia was sleep talking, and they had a full on conversation that you could follow in their sleep about Final Fantasy.
No way. About Final Fantasy. That's
That you could
excellent.
keep track of the conversation. It was just, and like I had to poke at him for a while to see, are you really asleep? There's no way you're asleep. No, he was asleep.
Oh my gosh, that's insane. But yeah, we had all the sleep regression. So again, big plug for Wonder Weeks because once I got that book, I could basically predict when my sleep was going to go out the window by that book. It was
Okay.
literally on the dot every single Wonder Week um, in that book meant we were not going to get any sleep for about a week. I think it was the 6 month sleep regression was the worst, I want to say, or was it the 9 month? One of those was really, really, really awful. Right around when we got to crawling and pulling up and stuff like that. That was really bad. I have a photo somewhere on my phone where it was literally like 2 in the morning, and I think it was Olivia just decided no, sleep is for the weak. And she kept crying until I took her out into the lounge room in the playpen. She just sat there happily playing. It was just she wasn't crying because she was upset. She was crying because her brain was switched on and it was playtime. And I was so tired.
Yeah, it was one of the things that I learned throughout my uni sort of parenting era, which went on way longer than it needed to. But there, nothing in the world really beats a playpen, whole bunch of toys they can play with, and a sofa next to it that you can nap on while they're happily
Yes.
playing.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you have to catch those so you swallow you can.
Yeah.
And then, he ends up with one of those plastic, I don't know if you remember them, but McDonald's had plastic mugs at one stage there with little feet on them.
Okay. No,
And
I don't know.
so he had one of those in his playpen, and I think it was about maybe 9 months at 18 months, somewhere around the sitting up phase.
Yeah.
And it was like he was in prison because he had this cup and he was doing that on the bars with it.
Flanking it on the bars. Oh
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um,
We basically not every kid has sleep regressions, but we had every single one of them with both twins, and it went on well past. I think started getting good sleep again when they were about 3, so it was pretty rough. So you can't plan that, and we did try the sleep training thing. We got a certified um, nurse to come and try and help me sleep train them. It went horribly because what happened was it was that whole you put them down and you leave, and then they cry and fuss, and you come back and you reassure them and calm them down, and then you leave, and then you kind of leave longer and longer periods before you come back and reassure them, and eventually they'll give up and calm down. Not my children, no.
no.
And she had me do it one at a time. So I was trying to put Owen to sleep, and she was kind of like running interference with Olivia. And it took so long that by the time Olivia's turn was, she was overtired.
Mm,
And then it was even 10 times worse. So I just
it,
decided I don't have the stamina for this. It's hard enough. I'm just going to do whatever works for me. Thank you for your advice, sleep nurse lady. Just I'll figure it out myself.
yeah. It's like even professionals fall into the trap of every baby works the same way, and they just don't.
Yeah, they just don't. It doesn't work. You figure out what works for you.
Mm.
Just don't shake the baby and don't neglect the baby. And sleep. This was another one that I
Kick
liked.
the baby!
We had
No,
a
don't kick
friend.
the baby! Kick the baby!
We had a friend who had a baby with serious like sleep disorder, and they worked out eventually that she needed melatonin to fall asleep, and apparently now even that she's an adult she still needs melatonin to fall asleep. But their saying was sleep when the baby sleeps and sleep when the baby doesn't sleep. Just sleep.
Yep.
Yeah, anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that.
Fair enough.
And then there was one more question about when we should be considering daycares, playgroups, nurseries, preschools. Whenever works for you is my
Hmm.
advice.
Yep. Yep.
It's going to depend on your situation.
I think it also depends on how big your village is. Like, if you've got a lot of
Oh, for
family with a
sure.
lot of cousins and stuff around similar age, then they're getting socializations there.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, Daniel was the firstborn grandchild. Yes, my two younger siblings were 2 and 3 years older than him, so it's similar age range.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I would
Uh,
definitely say playgroups are great.
they're great. They teach
As
them how
soon
to
as
share.
you're
They teach them how to
yeah,
like connect with people, and
you need to
yeah.
socialize with other kids, and
Mhm.
they're good if they have kids at a range of ages. So your kids are going to be in school and they're going to be in class with everyone's their age, but they should also learn how to get along with older kids and younger kids.
Yep.
Um,
And even for like non-working parents having a day in daycare or creche or
Yes.
whatever a week to let them have some time to catch up on some sleep, rest, do something for themselves, whatever.
Just
It
be
does
able
not
to
hurt the child.
go run errands without having to take 40
Mm-hmm.
things with you and take an
Mm-hmm.
hour to get out of the house is nice.
Yes.
Or just have an adult conversation for a while.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Because like, it is really important for like that parent that's looking after the child all the time to have some of that time. Otherwise,
Yeah.
marriages fall apart over
Yeah.
the 24/7 parent like
Yeah.
not getting enough care or consideration or whatever. Because like too many of the working parent think that they bring the money in, that's their whole contribution. So they have a 9 to 5 job and that's it.
Yeah, and
And
that
we just
that's
need to
that's
normalize
not
that's not how this shit works.
and and that cannot compare to the energy and time that you put
Mhm.
in outside of those
Yeah.
hours. Even if it's somebody who has long working hours, it's not the same. It just isn't. I don't, unless you're like an air traffic controller, your job cannot be nearly as stressful as full-time parenting a kid. So just work out something that supports the other parent and values their contribution
And
because
even if
money isn't enough.
yeah, even if you break it down into you bring the money in and they stay at home, that's still, comparatively speaking, 9 to 5, your job is to go out and make money. 9 to 5, their job is to do everything around the house. Outside of those
And
hours, you're both off the clock. It is now your
yeah,
job to contribute to chores, raising the child,
yes,
etc., etc.
yeah.
So, if you're not helping pick up some of the slack after work because you're tired from work, then you should shell out for them to have that child in daycare a couple of days a
Yeah,
week so they can have
so
some
they can just
downtime.
have some breathing room.
Oh,
And so
yeah.
they get a weekend basically, you know? Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, again, daycare, preschool, you've got to gauge where your child is at, what resources you have available to you, and it's there's just so many options.
It's
I
also
can't answer
important to
that.
let your child explore the world without you a little bit as well. I mean, I know that sounds weird at very young ages, but you are, for the first, let's say, 12 years of the child's life, you are the center of their universe.
Mm,
But that doesn't mean that they shouldn't be visiting other planets,
yeah.
you know, because sooner or later they need to start their own universe.
Yeah, and I think I really liked what you said about having a village. Like, it's important for them to learn how to interact with other
Hmm.
adults that aren't you. It's
Hmm.
important for them to learn to respect other people that aren't you.
Yeah.
Um,
Because, yeah, basically, if you try to raise them in isolation, what you're doing is raising the village idiot.
yeah. Yeah, you're just raising someone who doesn't know how to deal with other people properly, and that
And I'll be
benefits no
called
one.
Karen in later life. I'm kidding. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they
So,
do need to they need to learn how to interact with people at age appropriate ways, and they need to learn how to not be entitled brats and how to
yeah.
think about other people around them. And exposing to other kids their age is a good way of doing that in
Yep.
staggered steps as they grow.
Yeah. Yeah, I think all kids need boundaries, and
Hmm.
whether I mean, there's certainly I know families where regular school just wasn't an option
Hmm.
because their kids had mental health issues and other things that were preventing them from attending normal school. But having some structure and some boundary is never a bad thing, I think.
But, yeah, but that's what I mean. Like
Yeah.
homeschooling in their own pace, in their own way, is fine. Like having
Yeah.
that structure and still teaching them the skills
Yep.
in a progression that they can cope with is
Yeah.
fine. So yeah, but kids need boundaries and structures.
Yeah.
Not all kids need the same boundaries and structures,
Exactly. This is true.
but all kids need some semblance or some form of routine, touchstones, structure, boundaries. They need to know where it is.
Predictability on some
Exactly.
level. Yeah.
Exactly. And they will keep testing those boundaries, and the boundaries will expand as they get older, and you can trust them with more, etc., etc. But they
Yeah.
need it. It's comfort for them. So don't
Mhm.
think you're stifling them unless your boundaries are insanely, horribly
Yes.
restrictive, but and they need to flex as they grow and as they develop. But they kids take comfort in that and they look to
Yeah.
you. So one of the stories that I learned through one of my linguistics teachers actually is like when kids learn language, they try it out in different contexts. So for swearing, a
Hmm.
child will say fuck and they'll get in trouble and they'll go, oh, that's not how that's used. And they'll still try it again in different contexts until they
Yeah.
realize that word itself is the bad thing.
Yeah.
So it's the same with boundaries. I'll push against them to see where the boundary is and how
Yes.
life works. And
Yeah.
that's what they're doing. They're not doing it just to piss you off, although it feels like it at the time.
And
But that's what
sometimes they might be doing it just to piss you off, but
Well,
most of the
especially
time they're
if
just
your
being
name is
ridiculous.
Daniel and you're 20 something years old and you live in my house. But yeah, for the most part, it's really kids are just experimenting with what this life bullshit is
Yes.
and how does it work? How does it work? What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to function? How am I supposed to interact with people? And they keep pushing to see how is this supposed to work. That's all
They're
that
the
is.
ultimate QA engineer, basically.
Basically, let's see how many different ways I can press this button to see what breaks. Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
So yeah, and that's why the boundaries need to be flexible because it needs once they've learned the context and you know they've got it, it needs to move out a bit more to show them a little more of the world and how it
Yeah.
works, and they'll test that and explore that context and push your buttons.
Yep.
So the biggest trouble I've had definitely links back to my ADHD because I Daniel has pushed some serious buttons over time. And the problem is he gets away with a lot of it because he'll get in trouble. I will give him a suitable punishment for his age level, like I will ground him or
Hmm.
something. And the next day I've forgotten that it's happened. I've forgotten that he's grounded. He's off doing normal life stuff again because he's not going to remind me that he's in trouble. And then I remember 3 weeks later, hey, that happened. And it's too late to go back and retroactively going, you're grounded now. So, yeah, Daniel, I realistically, because of how I am and how young I was when I had him, I am lucky that I've ended up with a fully functional, well recovered.
Well,
And
obviously, you provided enough of the right kind of boundaries that it didn't matter that the punishment wasn't fully
I
delivered
think
every time.
I think there was a lot of trauma involved. But one of the big things is like I would talk to him. He would be in trouble, but I would talk through why did you do that? What did you So even
Yeah.
though I'd forget what the punishment was, I would follow through, I'd always have the discussion with him about what the hell happened? What do you
Yeah.
mean that? What? What's going
Yeah.
on here? He knew I always had his back. I went up to the school and fought with him so many times over the bullying thing.
Mm.
And at the point where he came home with bruises all down his back, and all I heard from the school, they took cricket bats to him.
Oh my
He was bruised from,
God.
and I
That's
went up to the
shocking.
school and I said, "Hello, what are you going to do with it?" Oh no, we talked to the boys. They said it didn't happen. I said, "Well, bruises, Exhibit A. He did not do this to himself."
Yeah.
And then 2 days later, I got a call from the school saying that I had to come and deal with him because he had flipped down and locked himself in a room and was screaming, "Keep away from me," to everyone, including the headmaster. And at that point, I pulled him out of the school. I
Yeah.
said, "There's 3 weeks till Christmas break anyway. He's not coming back to the school. We're done." So he knew I had his back.
Yeah.
I organised with work to leave to start my Christmas leave early. We were done. I
Yeah.
wouldn't, I was willing to give them a little bit of leeway to address it and show me that they were going to resolve it.
Yeah. Clearly
But the
not.
next issue was no, he's out. We're
Yeah.
done. And if I'd been older and more mature and known what I know now, my next stop would have been the police department because their
Yeah.
failure to maintain the safety of my child
Yeah. There's a duty
warrants
of
the school.
care.
Exactly. So I will say that if bullying goes over a certain line and you're not getting joy from the school, get the authorities involved.
Yeah. Any final thoughts on parenting or final advice for our strange belly button loving friend?
I do actually have one piece of advice from that one of the questions in here that we didn't cover, which is about food and weaning and all of that
Okay.
jazz.
Yeah.
Now, I I, I I'm not really the best source for like weaning or food tub, but one thing I would like more people to be aware of, you need to be quick careful with, is there's there is a normal phase that kids go through of picky eating.
Mm,
Then there is such a thing as resistant eater.
mm-hmm,
Resistant eating is not picky eating, but it looks the same at a young age. And the
mm.
stuff that you do to get through the picky phase actually reinforces trauma for resistance eating.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it increases a lot of food related angst and whatnot. So you have to be very careful about how you navigate the picky eating because you need your kids to learn how to diversify their foods and everything.
Yeah,
But the way to get resistance eaters to eat more and is it's through involving them in the food preparation and talking them
yeah.
through and educating them about foods, which would also get people through picky eating phases and is more
Yeah, and
healthy.
actually that's the advice that we got is
Hmm.
so when kids turn about 3, I think is a very common age, they
Hmm.
suddenly want more autonomy and say over what happens to them.
Yep.
And one of the main ways they do that is they start saying, I don't want to eat that.
Hmm.
And we had it to a degree, but yeah, getting them to help prepare the food. I know
Hmm.
they're only 3, but they can still do things and you can
Hmm.
still expose them to the food. And then the other thing that we did was we used like the tasting plate approach. So I would put some things that I know they would always eat on their plate, and then they would have little bits of other things, and I would let them eat their favorite thing first, and then quite often they would eat their favorite stuff and then they'd nosh on the other stuff even though it wasn't their favorite, and sometimes they would even try stuff they hadn't tried before. But if they knew there was always something that they could choose first, they were a lot more
Hmm.
cooperative and comfortable with me putting weird stuff on there. And my kids are really not too picky eaters.
Hmm.
We lucked out. I think, you know,
Whereas I am actually a resistant eater, and the list of things that I will and won't eat is insane.
yeah.
Um, So, and just to give people a bit of an idea here, the big difference is a picky eater will eat if they're hungry enough. A
Yeah.
resistant eater will literally starve to death before they will eat the thing their brain tells them they can't eat.
Yeah, because it's
And
it's it's a it's crossed wires. Like at that point it
mhm,
is an actual like
yeah, I literally
issue
have
with the
my brain
brain.
telling me if I
Yeah.
eat this, I will get sick. And
Yeah.
if I try to force myself to eat it, I'm already gagging before I even get it to my
Yeah.
mouth. I
Yeah.
can't force myself to eat it. And it will change. It's not the same thing all the time. So
Yeah.
it apples are fine one week and the next week they're all off and rotten and bad, even in the face of them being absolutely fine.
Yeah.
I cannot force myself to eat them.
Yeah.
Textures I have problems with as well, but that's just the autism side of the
Mm.
ADHD thing.
You
So
really can't say
I really can't
that.
because I don't know who put that freaking acronym together, but it's AUDHD,
It
and
doesn't sound right when
it
you
just
say
it
it.
doesn't work for me.
It
Fix it.
looks okay when you're reading it though,
Yeah,
but
it
when you try
does.
to say it, it's like how well, no, that
It
doesn't come
yeah,
out right.
no, but when you read it, you kind of also read it more like ADHD. You don't actually read
Yeah,
AUDHD.
yeah,
So when you try and verbalize it, it's like I'm
no,
just
this,
struggling here.
yeah.
But yeah,
This was very personal. So again, when you wean and all of that stuff, I think that's got to be whatever works for you as
but,
well. I mean,
but
obviously, if a baby's too young, you shouldn't be giving them solid foods. But when their teeth start coming in and they start showing interest in solid foods, let them eat
yeah,
it.
but there
Is
doesn't
kind of
seem
the
to be any
guideline.
significant studies that show weaning at a specific age over another age is
Yeah.
better.
So we did though I would recommend baby-led weaning because that really
Mm,
informed a lot of the kind of similar approaches to what you talked about letting kids engage with their food and having some choice and feeling like they could eat what they felt like. So yeah, we did a
yeah.
lot of when as soon as they were kind of big enough to sit up, it wasn't their primary food source, but we would sit them down in the IKEA high chairs, you know, the ones that are everywhere in every restaurant.
Yep.
Put them in that, and I would just put whatever we had that was soft enough for them to gnaw on. We didn't do like blended baby foods. We did like, you know, steamed veggies or soft fruits that were cut up small enough that they wouldn't choke or things like that. And they could just grab whatever they wanted and shove it in their face. And that was it. And then, you know, they were breastfed.
Yeah. Side note for our
Apart from that,
listeners,
and they got all they needed.
I have watched the boy twin child eat gelato. Yeah, he definitely does just shove it in his face.
He does just shove it in his face still. I
But
have a
then so did
hilarious
I. So
I have a hilarious photo still of well, I have many photos of both of them basically covered in avocado, and avocado is covering every surface of the high chair as well.
Mhm.
They liked blueberries a lot. Blueberries were really popular, so we have, you know, like face smeared in blueberry photos and stuff like that.
And the other thing is, don't shame people who can't breastfeed for whatever reason, because
No,
all the studies show fed is best. It doesn't matter if it's breast or not.
it doesn't need to be a fucking contest, okay?
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
don't have to virtue signal
Hmm.
how you know, um, yeah, again, child that is alive because they are getting cared
Hmm.
for and getting nutrition in whatever way works for you is
Hmm.
fine. It's
Hmm.
just fine. And if you're a really great breastfeeder and you have a really great breastfeeding relationship with your child, that's fine too, but that doesn't make you like morally superior.
Yeah. Does not make you any better or worse than
Yeah.
Marley, who could not breastfeed. So,
Yeah.
you know,
But
my child and I have a decent bond. We're
oh,
close. We hang out all the time, and
I will
apparently
say
not
though,
breastfeeding him didn't hurt him.
yeah, I will say though that women don't get enough support when they do want to try to breastfeed. I think, you know,
Mm.
it's something where you don't get told at all what it's like. You don't get
They
enough
don't
information.
they
I
don't give you
went
enough
to
information on so many
I
things.
know. We went to classes, like we did all the prenatal stuff and went through, but it's not really enough. You need to be around. Like what they should do is like pair expectant parents with people who have infants and like hang out and talk about stuff and like listen in. And that will give you a
Now
much
we're
better
doing
picture.
mentoring for
Yeah,
children.
I think that would work really well.
Look,
And with a
if they
wide
just
range,
go
not just like one person, but like, you know, hang out with
even
a
just like
person.
labor, you know,
Well,
if
I never
anyone had
got to
told
even
me,
experience labor. I was outside of my control.
well, see, I may or may not have been in labor for a lot longer than I realized because I was waiting for pain, like stomach pain.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All of mine, I had a backache for days
Yeah.
and extreme constipation. Like I really felt like I needed to poop.
Oh,
It was like
wow.
painfully so felt like I needed to poop.
Yeah.
And yeah, basically the day after a day of that, we went up to the hospital for I think because the mucus plug thing happened, all the
Oh, okay. Yep.
gross
Yep.
stuff.
Yep.
And
Hmm.
yeah, I was in labor. I didn't know. I
Yeah.
had no idea I was in labor. If it's
Yeah.
they told, yeah, some people carry it in their back and it feels like
Yeah.
constipation. I'm like, if someone
Yeah.
had told me that, I could have told you a day ago I was in labor.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
Or you can
um,
end up with preeclampsia and you don't get to wait till you finish your term.
yeah,
So yeah, I mean that
that,
was
that,
the first big, you know, you're not in charge here was being told I was gonna have twins. The second one was, well, you're not gonna get to deliver them how you want. You're at an at-risk pregnancy already because you have twins. So you're going to have to go to the
yep,
twins clinic and you don't get to go to the nice birthing center. You have to go to the the postnatal ward and
Yep.
Yeah, and then everything was fine. I was like accepting it, and then it was like, oh, guess what? You have preeclampsia, so we're gonna deliver them now.
That's something I would actually tell people as well. They make this big song and dance about the moment you see your child when they're born. It's like love at first sight, and so it's not like that for everyone.
No.
I'm not a particularly maternal person. I've always thought of myself as more paternal. I love my son. I would die for him. But I want to go to work and be intellectually stimulated and come back at the end of the day, help him with homework, play a game with him and throw him in the bed. I don't want to be domestic. I don't want to
Hmm.
clean and wipe and do gippy thing. It's
Hmm.
not me. I, I've always loved him. But I didn't feel that the first time you see him. It's all, look
Yeah.
at my nose. So
I didn't even
don't.
get to see my children after they were born. I couldn't wear my glasses. There was a big sheet up because it was a cesarean section, it was
Marianne, yeah.
emergency, so I couldn't even see that.
Hmm.
Um, I so yeah, and then I got wheeled off for like, they got wheeled off to the NICU, and I got wheeled off to the postnatal ward and
Yep,
recovery and stuff from surgery. And then I didn't even see them for like a day or two.
yep.
And
No.
and yeah, that
But yeah,
was,
it's just
but
don't.
yeah, it doesn't have to be that magic. Oh, they lay the baby on the
Yeah,
chest and then everything changes. It might be that, or it might be very different.
it absolutely can be that, but
Yeah,
don't judge yourself harshly if it's not that. Don't
yeah.
expect everything to be, everyone's been inundated with influencers who say everything's wonderful and I love my children so much and I can clean and look
And
after my and I
TV
look at it this
shows, like how
don't
much of our understanding is informed by people delivering babies on TV shows where it's
right
like the most unrealistic thing
right
ever.
yeah yeah so,
Don't
so,
believe
so I
TV.
like look I'm right up there with like in coupling right Steve is like one of the couple she's pregnant right and he
Yeah.
keeps calling it the John Hurts moment. I'm like
Yeah.
yeah I'm with him. It's
I
like
love that show. That was such a good show.
it was such a good show. But yeah, but basically, yeah, just that would be my big general advice for all new parents out there. You need to give yourself grace. You need to be forgiving of yourself.
Yeah.
Most of what you see on TV and influencers, it's curated. They've got people who are actually doing that cooking and cleaning for them. You don't see the tired behind the scenes. They don't want you to see that.
Yeah.
Nobody is that
You're
perfect.
seeing an idealized version of the
Hmm.
world that
Yep.
they want to portray.
Yep. So
Your
love
reality, don't judge
yourself.
your reality by their,
Yep.
perfect portrait for sure.
Yeah. Love yourself. Love your little chest bursting alien thing that you've just adopted.
Your weird little wrinkly
Exactly.
thing.
And that listen to medical professionals about the things that you know. It's all good and well to say I'm their mother. I know best for them. You don't. You don't have a
Well, not
medical degree.
always. Like, I think we've got to remember we're all human beings, but
I think there
by
are
all means,
some.
don't write off expertise, right? Listen
Yeah,
to it.
your parental experience will let you know when that cry is not right and something is wrong.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely. But
yeah,
when the doctor is telling you that there is a fever and they need this antibiotic, don't sit there and go, "Oh no, we're just going to pray. It's going to be
yeah,
fine." Why did you go to the doctor in the first place? Um,
yeah.
you know, vaccines do not cause autism, and even if they did, that's not the worst thing in the world. Um,
Well, now we're
and
just
the
getting
Earth is a
into
globe.
medical
Okay,
advice. So
I'm just crossing the conspiracy theories off as I go here. Okay. Just love your kid and give yourself some grace.
Yeah, I
Like
think
that's
that's
it.
the best. I think that's the best conclusion you can come to. If you're guided by those two principles, you'll be
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And For God's sake, learn how to count to 10 in your head and count to 10 before you explode on me. So, awkward outro?
Awkward outro.
Awkward outro! Bye, Greer!
Bye, Greer!
We now have a Discord server, as well as all our socials, so links on the website to help us peer pressure Greer into joining us. One of us.
Yes. Or you could just come on and say what you like, or ask us to do an episode on something.
And until next time, keep waving those freak flags high!
And embrace the beautifully bizarre.